Judge, welcome back to the program. Before looking ahead, let's look back here at 2023. In your State of the County speech back in September, you said Dallas County was a mess. I believe those are the words you used there, with new software problems and 2 outside investigations. How confident are you right now those problems are fixed as we go into the new year?
Well, we still got work to do, but we're making good progress. We're going to have to work with our judges to pick a good auditor. The county commissioner's court doesn't pick the auditor. We had a lot of trouble in the auditor's department this year.
The auditor left.
The auditor left.
Yeah.
And we've had a lot of trouble with IT as well. And we're searching for a new IT director. Hope to have that filled soon. And that is something the commissioner's court and my office are responsible for, is fixing that IT problem. But we're working together. There's good collaboration there. And we've got good outside consultants. I feel good that most of those problems have been corrected and we're on the right track.
Some people might look at it and say, well, how in the world did Dallas County stumble in 2023 with these issues?
Well, again, it's these outside agencies that are part of the county but not under the commissioner's court and my office's control, like the juvenile department that has a separate board that's currently suing us and suing me because I want them to clean up their act and do better for the kids. The auditor's department that we don't run, but we're trying our best to help. And we're going to be looking at moving some of those functions that are currently in the auditor's department to another group that will be under the administration.
Let's talk about priorities for 2024. Top 3, what are they?
Well, we've got to continue to work on jobs, health care, and that includes mental health, and then collaborating with our schools to really push that mental health and substance abuse care.
You and I have talked about mental health with younger folks for a time, but that's really something you want to concentrate on in the new year. It's not just working with the high school kids, but it's catching them a lot earlier.
That's right. So what we see with our kids is these troubles tend to manifest themselves in more kids around the 9th grade. And if we can get to those kids with a race-neutral risk assessment in middle school, so that if a child is beginning to exhibit signs of depression or anxiety or a more serious underlying illness, we give them the help that they need early through peer support, through connecting them with UT Southwestern, and through the great school counselors that we already have at DSD, who has more counselors per capita than any other ISD in the country.
Dallas ISD does.
Dallas ISD does.
And how easy is that going to be to get to these middle schoolers who might not know the emotions they're going through?
Well, we're going to have a pilot program that starts with 6 middle schools at first. And, kids are pretty honest, they're pretty open. And of course, this will be something the parents will have to agree to. No kid is going to be assessed without mom and dad's permission, or whoever, mom, dad, grandparent, whoever is in charge of taking care of that child's permission. But we really hope this will help the kids. We've got to remove that stigma from mental health and recognize that nobody's perfect physically, we're not perfect mentally. Our kids deserve our very best efforts to give them the best life possible.
In January, Commissioner's Court gets a report about the state of the Dallas County Jail. The existing one, I didn't realize, goes back to the 1980s. Do you expect a new jail to be in the works here pretty soon? And any idea where that might go?
I do, Jason. I do think it's time for a new jail. And as we build that, we're going to have to build it the right size to hold the people that need to be held in jail, but not too big so we don't just fill it up with poor people. And we're going to have to look at the sort of rehabilitation and drug treatment and mental health treatment services that we need to keep that jail from being a revolving door, particularly for our homeless and the people who frequently go to jail. Now, the jail will have to be within 4 miles of the current courthouse where my office is, but there's a lot of land there. I think if you were building a jail today, you probably wouldn't put it smack dab between the 2 Calatrava bridges where the Simmons Park is going, right? That's our new front door. It was not great valued land 30, 40 years ago, but now it's our front door. So let's clean up our front door. Maybe we use that for some really good, smart green development. And let's get our jail still close to the courthouse, but in an area where it's out, not viewed by everyone who comes to Dallas.
How soon would a jail realistically be up and running? And secondly, would it be the same size or smaller?
So we'd have to look at what the experts tell us as to what we need on the jail. And it would take a few years. Jails are kind of like the convention center, that we voted for it, but it's taken a few years to build. Jails are a big endeavor, so you're not talking about something that from start to finish is going to be done in 2 or 3 years. It can be longer than that.
Would it be the same size as the existing jail, or would it be smaller?
It's hard to know at this point. It would be different, because you'd have more in the way of treatment there for substance abuse and mental health than you currently have, built into the older jail. But as far as the size of it, it would be, hard to look at. The move has been towards a smaller footprint. Now, we did see this last summer. Our jails in our urban areas became overcrowded, and many places had to send their prisoners to other states even. We didn't have to do that here in Dallas. We were able to manage through that, but that's going to be a tough thing. I have been a proponent of only keeping people in jail who need to be there. We don't need to keep people in jail because they're too poor to make bail. If you're safe enough to bail out, we need to look at getting you back to your job and your family. But we've got to keep the people who are not accused of crime safe. That's our number one priority.
Super Tuesday, hard to believe it's 2 months away though, coming up. You and I talked about this a few months back. Texas left that multi-state program called ERIC that would keep our voter rolls clean. So here we are going into Super Tuesday in 65 days or so. Do you expect any issues come March 5th when people go to cast their ballot in the presidential primaries?
Our goal is to make sure that every vote is counted, Republican, Democrat, Independent, and that everyone who is eligible to vote and wants to vote gets to vote. Moving us out of ERIC, our legislature and governor doing that was stupid. Okay, that is a program that is meant to make sure the vote is secure. And now we don't have that. We're not getting a whole lot of help from the politicians in Austin to run elections, but we're working with them as best we can. And we've got a great elections administrator in Hatter Garcia, who the Republican Secretary of State said 2 years ago is the model for an elections administrator. So I do feel comfortable that here in Dallas County, we'll have a good, fair, clean election.
What concerns you going into 2024?
Well, what concerns me going into 2024 is the flip side of what we've talked about, mental health. We don't have enough capacity in Dallas County for mental health. We've got to expand that. Jobs, we've got to make sure that people are upskilling and upgrading in their jobs so they're getting more dollars by the hour. And then healthcare, we had so many people last year knocked off the Medicaid and CHIP rolls, CHIP for children, rolls by the state of Texas. We've got to do all that we can to get people enrolled that qualify for Medicaid, for CHIP for our kids, or for Obamacare for those people who don't work for a big employer that provides insurance.
So those are the challenges and the opportunities then?
Both the challenges and the opportunities. And of course, Jason, as always, I want to keep your taxes low.
Judge, thanks for the time. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.